So Rick Snyder, that's why you have to. That's when people lose confidence in their government, which they have. That's why you're supposed to leave now, because you can't poison people and then go, "Whoopsie, I'll fix it." Trust me, no. He told them for over a year. No, the water's safe. Over a year, the water is safe.
And pay your bill.
And pay your bill, by the way.
And
then
they
finally, in September of 2015, they're like, all right, there's a problem. But now we fixed it, and trust us, keep drinking that water. Remember the water we told you that was safe and it wasn't? Well, we're telling you it's safe again, and it is.
And they falsified federal documents in order to make it seem like it was safe. And by the way, they had an E. coli scare before the lead scare.
Oh, right.
There was E. coli in the water. Everybody was getting sick, and they went, oh, yeah, it's untreated water. We need to put some bleach in it. So they put chlorine in it, and everybody was like, the water's burning my eyes.
And people got Legionnaire's disease too.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? So they made him. They made the governor released his emails from 2014, but he didn't release the emails that told people why they switched the water in the first place.
Right.
Well, so according to Motor City Muckraker, okay,
I like it.
Let me find it.
Got to rake up that muck.
The Flint water crisis that led to thousands of people being poisoned began because state officials maintained it would save the cash-strapped city money by disconnecting from the Detroit Water and Sewer Department and using a different source. But it turns out the Detroit Water and Sewer Department offered the state-controlled city a deal that would have saved Flint more money by staying with the Detroit. An email obtained by Motor City Muckraker shows the deal would have saved the city $800 million over 30 years, which was 20% more inexpensive than switching to the Karagandhi Water Authority, which is what they were doing. A high-ranking Detroit Water and Sewer Department official told us today that Detroit offered a 50% reduction over what Flint had been paying Detroit. In fact, documents show that the Detroit Water and Sewer District made at least 6 proposals to Flint, saying that the KWA pipeline can only be attributed to a political objective that has nothing to do with the delivery or the price of the water, meaning that the people of Flint, the city manager responsible to Rick Snyder, chose to go with this different water system coming out of the river instead of going with Detroit, even when the Detroit water would have been cheaper. Why did they do that? Because their whole reasoning was it was cheaper to do it this way. Turns out it wasn't cheaper to do it that way. It goes on. Saying he was sorry for the mistake, Governor Snyder pledged full transparency during his State of the State address last week and released emails related to the water crisis from 2014 and 2015. Curiously, he refused to release emails from 2013,
That's right.
which would have showed why state officials decided to make the switch from the Detroit Water and Sewer Department to the KWA. Now it seems clear why Snyder wouldn't release those emails, because in those emails, it would have revealed that the switch was not about saving money. So what was it about? Some have suggested that Snyder was motivated by a desire to break up the Detroit Water and Sewer Department and ultimately to privatize it.
Because
That's what Republicans love to do. Republicans love to take public utilities and privatize them. That's their wet dream. They love it, right?
Well, wet is a proper term.
Right. In this case, so in the summer of 2015, the Department of Water and Detroit Water and Sewer Department, get this, was actually split into 2 entities: the Detroit Water and Sewer Department and the Great Lakes Water Authority. So that actually happened. They actually split it up into 2 different things. And others have suggested that Snyder wanted to start fracking operations along the new pipeline.
Of course.
Ooh, nice.
Yes. So here's also from that same Motor City Muckraker.
Are going.
So they kept claiming. Snyder claimed that the emergency manager was forced to use the river water because the Detroit Water and Sewer Department insisted it would cut off the city without a long-term contract. Not true. Not true. Snyder made the same claim during his State of the State earlier this month, but those claims are untrue. Records show that the DWSD urgently tried to get Flint to sign a short-term contract to avoid the health dangers of the Flint River. So the Detroit Water and Sewer Department knew that that river had bad water, that you shouldn't. So they said, hey, we'll even cut you a deal to save you even more money on a short-term thing. Snyder said no. So an investigative reporter who works for the ACLU in Michigan revealed through deposition records that the DEQ warned of the dangers of using the Flint River, prompting then emergency manager Ed Kurtz to reject the river as a source of drinking water in December of 2012. What's unclear is why state officials still went ahead with the plan. The insistence of Flint officials to pursue construction of the KWA pipeline can only be attributed to a political objective that had nothing to do with the delivery or the price of the water. A Detroit Water and Sewer Department press release said. That was in April of 2013. In 2013, the Detroit Water and Sewer Department, who was giving Flint the water, who was now being cut off from giving them the water by Snyder, they were saying in 2013, hey, this isn't about money. This has got something to do with something else. I don't know what, but it's not about the delivery service and it's not about how much it costs. They were saying that in 2013. So Snyder's been lying. They've been doing this because I'm sure his political donors have been pulling the strings. Maybe the Koch brothers, somebody like that. They want to get their hands on the utility in Detroit. They want to break it up. So they try to bankrupt the utility. Hey, let's not give them money. Let's not give money. It's all about money. And this is what happens when Republicans get control of governance. When you give government to people who hate government and don't think it works, and they campaign on how government doesn't work, this is what they do. They don't try to fix problems. They take government and they try to manipulate it into serving their donors. And it's called crony capitalism, and that's exactly what's happened here.
Let me add to that.
It seems like Michigan would be the perfect place to pull that off, too, because it already has such financial problems.
Yes.
Detroit, that it seems like they felt that would give them cover for pulling this off.
Let me say one more thing to add to that to make it even more infuriating. This is all quibbling about $12 million is like the money that Flint was saying, like, oh, we can't spend this to, which obviously is bullshit. But you know what they did the entire time through this entire bankruptcy? They have been paying their municipal bond payments. Because you don't.
That goes to the bank.
Because that goes to the bank. And the banks always get paid back. They have been stripping down their services. They've been happily poisoning their people, but they are paying the bank back.
That's right. The bank gets, give me my money.
Because that's how crony capitalism works.
That's what happens when you elect people who tell you they hate government, that tell you government doesn't work, that tell you to fear government and everything should be privatized. That's what happens when you elect them into government. They break it. And they break it on purpose. Just like George Bush, who flew over Katrina in his jet. Yeah, whatever. They couldn't. They're somehow going to fix Iraq, right? We're going to spend $1 trillion and remake Iraq, but we couldn't get a bottle of water to a major city in the United States for a week. And that's when it happens when you elect people who don't like government.
And doesn't he want the government to bail him out? Doesn't he want FEMA to come in and help him? And don't they want a medical treatment for all the children in Flint forever?
So now Rick Snyder wants Barack Obama and the federal government to bail them out. Come on, we screwed up. We gave all our. So what did you want to say?
So will this guy see prison time?
No. Are you kidding me? The guy, Dick Cheney still walks. Are you kidding me? They can't travel international. They'll never. Steph, everybody on Wall Street, nobody went to jail. Are you kidding me? There is 2 tiers of justice, right? There's for the rich and connected and everybody else. And guess what? We're everybody else.
There should be a Truth and Reconciliation Committee on this. Like, even if they're not going to put people in jail, which they should, but somebody should sit down and unravel on the federal dime or on the Michigan dime what the hell happened.
I think we know what happened. I think
the governor should pay for everything.
I think we have a pretty good idea what happened here. We have a political opportunist who's not into governing or helping solve problems for his state. He gets power. He then implements this By the way, they never put a city manager in a city that's white. That's all I'm going to say. You're never going to get a majority white city where they institute this. Or let me put it this way. You're never going to get a Republican city that's white, right? Maybe a Democratic city, a city that votes Democrat. They might take over that city, but never a white city that's Republican. Believe me. And if I'm wrong, I want someone to let me know.